Welcome into Giants Postgame Wrap-up presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. I'm Madelyn Burke alongside Giants Super Bowl champion Victor Cruz. And Giants went out to Cincinnati, a 19-17 win over the Bengals, the 700th win in franchise history, behind only the Bears and Packers in NFL history. What are your immediate reactions to this one?
Well, first of all, that's an incredible stat. 700 wins is a phenomenal feat for any franchise. But this game gave me a little anxiety, right? Because in the early part of the season, this is a typical game the Giants would have lost. But they come through with the win in this one in dramatic fashion at the end. But no short of the nervousness for me at the end of the game. You
mentioned the end. That last minute was a nail-biter. I mean, the Bengals were kind of creeping into field position. But right here, look at this. Jabal Sheard gets the sack on Allen. The ball is loose, and Leonard Williams falls on top of it.
Just a huge play by the defense, who's been playing lights out pretty much all season long. And Leonard being Johnny on the spot, coming up with that football and creating that turnover for the Giants.
Sheard and Williams each had a sack today, and this is actually every game this season the Giants have had 2 or more sacks. We love to see that trend continuing.
Absolutely.
In Week 12 here. But you know what? There were some positives, but also special teams, Victor, was surprisingly off their game this week.
Yeah, they're going to have to shore some things up here. This is just the middle return, and this is something you practice. This is something you understand. This is something the Giants probably run themselves. So they're going to shore this up. Obviously, special teams, if they're going to have a deep run into the playoffs, if that's what they're aiming for, if that's what their goal is, you're going to have to shore up the special teams part of it.
Right, absolutely. That was the first time the Bengals had the ball. Brandon Wilson runs it back 103 yards for a kickoff return. The last time the Giants special teams allowed a kickoff return for a touchdown was Week 3 of 2015.
I think I was on that team, too. I might remember that.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It was against Washington. But you know what? Before this game, we had one person very interested in what was going on. LeBron James tweeting out the best of luck to fellow Akron, Ohio native Nico Lalos, who made his debut today. He was called up from the practice squad, and he made his debut with a nice play out there, Vic.
That's incredible. Nico Lalos, Akron. Shout out to LeBron, but he comes out here and just makes a tremendous play, tremendous focus on the football, makes the interception, diving interception to be exact, and comes up with a huge play. Coming off the practice squad, this is what you want. You want your presence to be felt. You want to go out there and rally around your team, and he accomplished that today. Shout out to Nico.
Nico Lalos, rookie out of Dartmouth, and much like both of us here on the set, he's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Wait.
So not just Nico, but you, me,
and
Nico Lalos.
Yep, 3 of us.
Future trivia for you right there. Taekwondo, right? That winning mentality.
Exactly.
But you know what? The defense was on it today, especially those defensive backs. They were doing work back there.
Yeah, I think defensively, I think the anchor of that defense is really in the secondary. Obviously, the front 4 guys all put pressure on the football and on the quarterback. But Logan Ryan here coming up with the strip and the fumble recovery. I mean, this defense has just been playing really, really good football. And I think they're the leaders, and that's the leadership on this football team. I mean, here you got obviously the quarterback throwing deep up the sideline here. You think it's going to be a big play, but Jabril comes off his hash, makes that break up, and prevents a huge play for the Bengals in a position where they could have scored right after that.
And this one as well, I mean, you look at that and you think, how was that not a catch? But James Bradbury got in there with the clean pass defense right there.
Yeah, super clean. He's been playing well, man. Here's Logan again with another pass breakup. I mean, all these DBs, I think they feed off of each other's energy. If Jabril comes into the backfield, makes a TFL, they feed off of that. If Bradbury comes up with an interception or a huge pass breakup, they feed off of that. And the entire defense feeds off of that. And I think it's starting to bleed over onto the offense because they ran the ball well today, were able to control that clock, and come away with a victory.
Xavier McKinney, also the rookie who just got called up, got off of IR this week, made his debut, got a couple of snaps in there, getting his feet wet.
Good to see him out there healthy
in the NFL game. We love to see it, but some not so great news. Third quarter, Daniel Jones suffered a hamstring injury. He went down, he tried to play through it, but you could just see, Victor, he was grimacing.
Yeah, this was tough, and you can see he kind of went down awkward there. He immediately feels for it. But you can see he came back into the game, tried to give it a go, tried to do a pass, tried to throw a pass in the middle of the field, and he just lifted that leg up, and you could tell it's really bothering.
Absolutely, and after the game, Daniel Jones talked about how that one felt.
Felt it on that play, and didn't feel like I could, run on it really, or do what I needed to do to, be effective and move the ball and throw it accurately. So just look to rehab it, to do whatever I can to heal it up as fast as I can.
Yeah, he understands the severity of this injury, and he wants to be safe about it. So they're going to take the proper precautions, get it scanned, make sure, they see what's going on in there, and then they'll make their assessment after that.
Yeah, hamstrings, those things can be tricky. All right, we've got a lot more coming up on the show. After the break, we'll hear from head coach Joe Judge. That and much more coming up here on Giants Postgame Wrap-up presented by Mercedes-Benz. Stay with us. We'll be right back. But first, for the latest game highlights and analysis, download the Giants mobile app on your device's app store. This week's toughest player of the game is driven by the Hess Toy Truck, on sale now at HessToyTruck.com. And the toughest player of today's win at Cincinnati is Graham Gano, 4 field goals. He's made 24 consecutive field goals, second for Giants' all-time franchise record. And Graham Gano, not just an incredible performance today and all season, but this man is coming off of the COVID list.
Wow.
And playing like this, playing like he hasn't missed a beat. Clearly, we saw how he was keeping in shape while in isolation in his hotel room. Look at this, just kind of keeping that leg work going, Vic.
This is whatever you need to do. Listen, these circumstances are highly unfortunate. You don't know how they're going to play out. It's different week to week, as we see all over the league. And for him to take initiative, get the net up in that hotel room, whatever it takes to be better, we must do.
And today he made field goals from the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and maybe even the courtyard as well.
Exactly.
All right, well, you know what? We got to take a listen to what head coach Joe Judge had to say about this win after the game.
Guys, I appreciate your patience. Look, proud of our team for fighting for 60 minutes. We talked all week it's going to be a 60-minute game. This team's played in a lot of close games, a well-coached team. We knew they had the ability to make plays on all 3 sides of the ball. They did today. It took everything from us, all the way down through the stretch. I'm proud of the way we did some things. And obviously, there's things we got to look at the tape and clean up. We have to have a good week of preparation this week going to our next opponent. But, for right now, we'll kind of keep the focus on how we played, what we have to correct going forward, what the health of our team is once that declares, and what we do for the next opponent. That being said, I'll open up to any question you guys may have.
Dan Duggan, The Athletic.
Hey, Joe, what can you tell us about Daniel's status right now?
I don't really know much. Obviously, I talked to him on the sideline in terms of how he was. It was at a point that he couldn't continue in the game, which takes an awful lot. Daniel's a really tough dude. So we'll kind of take a look and see what it is. I don't have much more information than what you guys probably got from the TV at this point right now. He's got to see the doctors and kind of get looked at with some MRIs and different things like that, which is standard procedure. We kind of MRI everything around here.
Schwartz, New York Post. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Paul.
Can you talk about, obviously, Colt McCoy is not taking any snaps this year. Did some good things, obviously. You guys seem to be conservative with him. At one point, he ran out of bounds, which I'm sure you aren't happy with. But just overall, how do you think the veteran handled it? It was a tough situation, obviously.
I thought he came in and managed the game well. I thought he made some big-time throws in some tough situations. Ran the ball tough. We'll talk about the situation and the 4-minute, strategy going, if we talk with the team. But, look, we talk about Colt not having a lot of snaps. I'm going to be honest with you. We benefit a lot defensively from having Colt run the offense against us on a weekly basis. And I think he benefits from seeing a lot of competition in practice. Look, no one gives our defense bigger headaches than Colt. The final, period of Friday of him going through the red area is always as tough as it gets because he's out there to win. He's out there to compete. But, he does a lot of things. He's a veteran, so he's got a lot of experience to draw on. But at the same time, he keeps himself as prepared as can be. He's mentally always into it. Physically, he's ready. I thought he got in the game today, and he helped us win.
Zach Rosenblatt, NBA.com.
Hey, Joe, I know you like to watch the film before you comment on specific plays, but I'm just curious what you made of the special teams today. I know you guys gave up that kick return touchdown, and I'm sure you weren't happy about that, and there's a few other errors, but I'm just curious how you felt about that side of the ball.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't good enough today. We're not going to be able to compete for these next 5 weeks if we don't raise our level of play. And, look, we've played well to a degree for the entirety of the season. We've had a lot of progress made in that phase. But it doesn't matter what happened before any specific game, just for what you do in that game execution-wise. So we've got to play better. We've got to coach better. We've got to do a better job all around in that phase of the game. That has to be a strength for us. So we've got to make sure we get back to work this week and improve.
And then just real quick on Nico, got you elevated and came up with a big play.
Yeah, you know what? He's definitely been a guy from the beginning since we first got him. He's just showed constant improvement every day. And we talk to our guys all the time. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. He's guys taking a lot of reps for us in a practice squad in different spots. He's worked hard on the special teams and made some improvements there. So, we talked this week about, who we liked in certain roles, and his name came up. And And obviously, he was a guy that the coaches felt confident in, and we put him up for the game. He was able to go in there, compete for us, and make some plays. So, to be honest with you, we're not surprised he was around the ball. We see that every day in practice. So, you know, practice execution becomes game reality. So, showed up for us today.
Thank you.
Joe, you guys are doing a lot of things around here that haven't been done since 2016. You know, 3 straight wins, a share of first place in the division. What does that tell you about the progress you're making as a program?
Yeah, I don't think you can compare this year period to any other year. Every team's unique. Every situation is independent of another one. However, I am proud of the way our players are working. I'm proud of the improvement they've made. I'm proud of how they come to work every day with a mindset of improving and going forward. We don't make it easy on them. That's by design, but I like the way they respond to our coaching. I like the way they respond to adverse situations within games, which obviously showed up today in several, situations. They responded the right way, and we got the results we needed. So, look, I love this group of guys. They're a lot of fun to coach. They come to work every day. They're tough, physically and mentally. They're very resilient. And, they've got the right mindset, which is just come to work every day, do your job, and improve on a daily basis.
You say anything to the guys about the fact that, at least as of now, your team is at the top of the standings?
No, I have not. No, I mean, we got to get ready for, we got 5 more games on the schedule. We've got to go ahead and play. Again, our division, everyone's really on kind of equal ground. So all it's going to matter is what we do in the next game, and we got to keep our focus short-sighted right now to what we have to do on Monday and Tuesday to get ready for Wednesday, and then the progress we make Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before we get on the plane and go out west.
Thanks.
Hamilton, record.
Hey, Joe, I know you'll dig into the film and look at the coverage breakdowns or what have you on special teams, but on that punt return, it looked like he was 1 away from going, and Cam Brown made the tackle. I'm sure you saw that play. I'm just curious what you saw from your vantage point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Cam made a game-saving tackle right there. And look, Erickson's one of the best returners in the league. He's been that way for a long time. You take him, you put the kick returner out there as well. And I'm just telling you right now, like, these guys are elite players. And, I said it early in the week, Darren Simmons, one of the best coaches in the National Football League. He does a phenomenal job of having his guys prepared. We knew they were going to have some tricks up their sleeve today. They went out there, they made some plays, they executed. We have to do a better job on our part of executing. Coverage has to be a strength for us as a team. I like the way Cam's played. He plays with a high motor. He's been able to make plays for us, early in the season. He's improved down the stretch. He's starting to contribute a lot on defense as well. Obviously we've got to continue working on, the coverage phase and keep improving on that. But that's something we've got to make sure that we account for.
That sound from head coach Joe Judge was brought to you by Toyota, the official vehicle of the New York Giants. And Victor, I mean, Judge is talking about the progress this team has made. They've got a share of first place and a chance to have outright first place in the division. What's your reaction to the way coach has handled this so far?
Well, I love it. I think the reaction has been great with this team because Joe Judge understands they're in a unique place. They're in a unique circumstance where they still can make it to the playoffs and still have all their dreams that are in front of them. But he understands that they have to clear some things up, right? Special teams wise and different parts of the game, different areas of the football game, they have to shore up in order for them to not only make the playoffs, but to make a deep run into the playoffs. They need to shore that thing up. But defensively, they're playing great. He's holding everybody accountable. And this team is starting to rally around the mindset and the accountability and the type of atmosphere that Joe Judge is putting around them, and it's paying off for them so far.
It's paying off. The team got the first win in Cincinnati in franchise history. The Giants have never won on the road there before today. 19-17 win over the Bengals. All right, we'll continue to discuss this game and a lot more to break down as Giants post-game wrap-up continues after this short break. Stay with us. Today's scoring drive of the game is brought to you by Investors Bank. Get the official New York Giants checking account only from Investors Bank. Visit investorsbank.com/Giants for more details. For the drive of the game, we go to the opening drive, 3rd and 2. Daniel Jones airs it out for Evan Engram, a 53-yard gain. Almost made it all the way to the end zone, but luckily Wayne Gallman runs it in, a 1-yard touchdown on 4th and 1. The Wayne train running express today. He has had a touchdown in each of the last 5 games. Career high 6 rushing touchdowns this season. 9 plays, 76 yards, 4 minutes and 59 seconds off the clock to give the Giants a 7-0 lead early. All right, now let's send it down to see what Evan Engram had to say after today's win in Cincinnati.
And it's how nice of you to be able to, make some of these catches downfield and finally really use that speed to your advantage.
Yeah, it was nice. Really just good execution by the offense, good protection, great ball, and just been working those plays. And they're playing man across the board, and we have to win those matchups. So it was just trying to make the play for the team.
Victor, we've seen Giants tight end Evan Engram have his ups and downs, but today, I mean, he really proved how tough of an opponent and a matchup he is for opposing teams.
Yeah, he's a huge matchup problem, and I've always said, if this offense can get Evan Engram going, playing consistent football, he is a mismatch nightmare for defenses. And every time he's out there, he can do this. He can stretch the field and make big plays down the field, and he can do things in the blocking game. He can do things down the field as a pass catcher. And once he's involved in making those big plays like we saw today, it's a completely different football team.
Yeah, like you saw, he owned that 50-50 ball right there and came up and got it. All right, well, we've got a lot more coming up on the show. Stay with us. We'll have more reaction and analysis as we close it out. And Giants postgame wrap-up will continue after this break. This show is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Giants.
I don't care if a team is 0-12. I'm trying to win. I don't care what their record is, you know. Look, I said winning's a mentality, and obviously we didn't start the year hot. That's okay, but I believe that years of losing can bring some type of culture, bring some type of Otis over a team, and we've dug ourselves out of that hole. We're not front runners. We started in the back of the pack, and now we're in the middle of the pack, and it's our job to finish strong. I don't want to play with anybody that starts fast and doesn't finish. We didn't start fast, but we worked and we believed, and that's where we are now. I don't know what their records are. Line them up. We got to play them. This is not the team from the beginning. It's not the team that played Pittsburgh in week 1. You know that. Watch the film.
Welcome back to Giants postgame wrap-up. That was Logan Ryan. And Victor, he has really emerged in his first season with the Giants as a real leader in this team.
Yeah, not just by what he says, but his actions on the football field. And it's crazy. He sounds a lot like Joe Judge. When you hear him talk, when you hear about the energy of the team, the mindset, most importantly, of this team, he sounds exactly like how Joe Judge sounded just a few short bites ago. So it's good to see Logan Ryan, one of the leaders on the back end of that defense. Obviously, Bradbury, Jabril Peppers, such a very highly talented secondary. And he's leading the way, not just with his play, but with his words as well.
And it's no coincidence that they sound alike. I know Joe Judge and Logan Ryan had a relationship before from back in New England as well. But as Logan mentioned, he says, you know, we're in the middle of the pack. But actually, news for you, Logan Ryan, at the top of the division. Take a look at this. The New York Giants are in first place in the NFC East. That is, the Eagles, of course, have a Monday Night Football game against Seattle. So if they lose that game, the Giants will remain in first place for the week. But look at that, Victor.
I love it. I think the Giants have worked hard. I think it's been a long season thus far. I think they've had a lot of battles, but those type of battles, they make you into a football team. They really help you gel together. And now they're on a 3-game win streak, top of the division, relishing it, boys. But we got some work to do.
And it's really fortunate for this Giants team, too, the fact that this entire division is kind of an even playing field and has had their struggles across the division. But the Giants seem to be trending up at the right time. Does that kind of give you optimism as this home stretch of the season comes along?
Absolutely, especially because of the way the defense is playing. Obviously, Daniel Jones will get we'll see how he turns out. Hopefully he's okay and can return. But I think defensively, this team is really playing lights out football. I think they're understanding their keys, their reads as a defense, and they're really flying to the ball and creating turnovers, which is what you want out of your defense. And they're really doing some unique looks to confuse quarterbacks. So that New England-ass defense that Joe Judge has brought here is really paying off some dividends right now.
Yeah, the Giants are in the top part of the league in quarterback hits, in pressures, in takeaways. That defense, and especially the run defense, too, does not get enough credit, but they are doing very well. But the Giants have a few challenging games on their slate, including a game against the Seattle Seahawks. The next game, Sunday, December 6th, 4:05 p.m. at Seattle. But the Seahawks will be on a short week, Vic, because they are playing, of course, the Eagles on Monday Night Football. What are your early thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I think obviously with the New York, the Giants, defensively, they're going to have to come to play. They understand DK Metcalf. They understand what Russell Wilson can bring to the table. But at the same time, this isn't the Seahawks from the beginning of the football team, the beginning of the season, rather, where Russell was just electric. I think they've hit a few bumps in the road, and I think this is a winnable game for the Giants if they stay true to their keys. Defense plays well, but they got to find a way to put some points on the board, obviously understanding that the Seahawks like to score in bunches. punch it.
And you mentioned defense. I think the defense really has an opportunity here because the Seahawks, as special as Russell Wilson is in his MVP caliber season this year, that offensive line has been shaky. And if the Giants can continue this trend of 2 sacks a game or more and put some pressure on Russ, we might see, a little shaky version of him.
Yeah, I think we've noticed that over the years when Russell's uncomfortable, when he's running more than he's standing in that pocket, it could be a different team that we're seeing, a different type of offense that the Seahawks come with. And the Giants have the type of defense to pressure him, to make him hurry up and force some errant throws where that secondary can be opportunistic.
And one thing that we've seen is every game this season the Giants have been in it, no matter the opponent, no matter, they don't look at it and say, oh, this is a scary opponent. They come ready, they come prepared for each game every
That
week.
Joe Judge mentality. Every time you line up, doesn't matter who it is, you come in there to play.
Hey, they say one game, one day at a time, one game at a time. It sounds a little coach speak, but you know what? It's real, and it's the real mentality of the New York Football Giants, and the real mentality of you guys is to join us every game day at 11:30 p.m. here on MSG Networks. For Victor Cruz, I'm Madelyn Burke. Thanks for watching Giants Postgame Wrap-up presented by Mercedes-Benz. See you next week.